Okay, so for what we have studied last time, we tried to view about what is Postman, what does Postman do, why do we use this tool, and we look upon like some testing sample uh, on how we can exactly use Postman. So when we say Postman,
Yeah.
what do we actually mean? Postman is a tool used by developers to test APIs. When I say API, we can hear about application programming interface. So this tool helps us, we developers, to send requests to a server and see the response without needing to write codes. Because most of the time, we are getting in period where we are going to start to build our backend application, and we do not need exactly to build a front-end part when we are testing our backend part. So this postman will actually help us to do all of those tasks. Yeah, it will help us to do all of those tasks because uh, if we are dealing with like some operation, some kind of requests you want to send, like some HTTP request, maybe we want to send any kind of data to our application to the server. Because when I mean server, I mean like our computer when you are dealing with APIs. So
Mm.
we'll be using this postman.
Yeah.
We will not need to use some coding part on front end because it can make our life easier to to test our API, to handle some errors if there is some errors in our program, and even to test our accuracy of the response from the backend. So here in this part I have provided like some essential part you have to understand how to install your Postman in your laptop, and also how to see your application background, how you can deal with them. Let me first show you
Yeah.
this Postman exactly, because all right. So this is
Mm.
exactly Postman I was talking about. This is how you can see it when you open it. And last time I explained some of the materials to your fellow colleague, how to start with, you know, set up your environment. You have to go to the Postman. As you see, you have to go to the Postman. They will give you exactly platform. Okay, can you wait a bit because it takes time.
Okay. Okay. Click.
Okay, because right now I'm logged in, they will eventually put me in my account, because in my account I have some workspace. I have also some invitation from the other guys I've been with, but let me try to log out because I want to make sure that you see everything. Okay, so here I have logged out in my account. So as you start to use Postman, you must make sure first you have your account created. And for me, I have it. I will not need to create it again. I will come here to sign in, and I will sign
Yeah.
with my account. So here they will direct me to my account because we in Postman we have a different thing that we have to actually make. Here I have my licensed workspace I used to have because last space I mean this workspace it's like a playground where I actually make my codes, this workspace. So what exactly here are we going to review? Because I'm going to make a quick recap on what we have studied last time. Whenever I logged in into my account, they may show me like the previous workspace, but if I don't have them, they will actually show me where I have to create a new one. So let me click on workspace. Okay, they will show me here where I have to create a workspace. Let me create a new one, and this new one, because I'm not going to test, I'm going to build application, because you have to come here and you explore some templates. Some people they choose to start with blank workspace, the workspace without anything inside it. But for me, I want to have a template of workspace that will contain some requests, some sample requests I can use during the processing of making my APIs. So here I will choose this template called API development because I'll be building APIs. And I do next.
Okay.
And after this part, they will tell me the name of my workspace. So uh, let me call it Hybros Academy, like this. And after choosing this one, here they will show me, hey, do you select workspace type? Do I want to use internal to build and test API with your team, or I need to have a partner, or I need to make it public? So for me, because I don't want anyone outside to see it, I will make sure that I have my internal team. And the manage access, here it will be only me and invited people. I don't want anyone else except for the people I will invite on my workspace. So, and I will do create. Okay, after create, they will give me a playground where I will be actually dealing with my APIs, because it has this Postman have uh, different tools that we have to access, we have to deal with. And here, as you see, we have our workspace, which is Hybros Academy, and here they provide some introduction on exactly about this API development, but I don't need this. You can even create your own introduction. It doesn't mean that I can continue use this one. And here I have my workspace, which is Hybros, and I have my correction. So when I say correction, what do I mean in this part? Correction in Postman is like a folder where you can store and organize your multiple requests related to one project or APIs. So are you getting that part about this correction? And this correction, mostly we use it to keep all APIs requests in one place, because Sometimes people can have a scattered APIs, and it is easy to test
Who's that
like
shit?
requests without
Hot. Yeah,
rewriting
you
them.
don't. Ah,
And again, this correction can be used to share the correction with your team, because sometimes you may need to share the correction to one team. Let me give you an example. Here I have this is my correction, and I want to share this correction to my team. All right, let me say I want to share this correction to you. Can you give me your email you will be using when creating the postman? Zaina, can you send me your email?
yes.
Yeah, send it to me here in Discord. Maybe I will find it directly.
Hot.
I mean, if you can send me your email, the email you'll be
Oh,
using
okay.
when creating postman. Yeah, send it to me. I want to show you how you can invite people when they are working in one correction.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Here I have your email, and I will come back to my postman here where I have API development, and go to this view more actions, and I'll click on share, and this share will load a model. This model will be the one that I will be using to send that email, and I paste your email here, and I invite you.
Okay.
So if you check your email, you will find this invitation that I have sent you on my or on correction that I have created.
Okay.
So, all right. If you accept it, I will find you here. All right. Without delay. And here I have also what I can call a folder. This part, actually, this folder helps us to organize, like to make uh, a correction of different APIs that we will be testing, because sometimes we may be testing user API, or we may be testing any other APIs. So to make sure that we have every API corrected to where they must be found, because sometimes you might have tens of testing or 20s of testing of APIs of requests. And here in this in these folders that we will create or use, this is where we will actually put our requests, so that we do not have actually to search for a long queue of requests without finding exactly which one that we need. All right, so this was about our collection and folders. What about our request? When we are in our requests, it's loading. Our request, we have actually different kind of request, our HTTP request. And this request use what we call methods. You have to actually take this into consideration, method, because we'll be dealing with it most of the time. This method, they are used depend on what kind of action are you taking when sending data. So the first action, are you actually trying to get data from our server, or are you trying to send data to our server? Maybe you may even want to change some data on our server or delete them. So On these methods, that's where we have actually to look upon what kind of action are we making here. So so here we have method get, post, put, patch, delete, head, and option. So what does this all method mean? When we are using get method, we are actually asking server to give us data when we are using get method. Are you following this, Zainab?
Yeah.
All right, because you must actually understand this, because if you get confused with this method part, it will be hard when we will be dealing with the backend part. But you must understand these ones. So
Okay.
when it's get, when we
Okay.
are using get, actually it's like we are asking our server to give us data. And when we use post here on this
Yeah.
post, we are asking the server to save new data. Are we together on this part?
Yeah.
All right. And then when we are uh, using put, we are asking server
I'm going to do something.
to completely update existing data. That's what put actually means. And when we are using here this one called patch, on this part we are actually asking server to partially update some data, because we want to update some partial part of our data. That is the use of patch. And for delete, this one we have here, when we are using it, we are asking server to remove something from it. Means some data that we want to remove from our server. So, and here
Okay.
we have other parts, which is head and option. Most of the time, these part they are not mostly used, because let me say for the basics, for the people who are trying to learn some basics. But I can actually explain what does these two means, because I have to jump to URL part. So head method, mostly they are like get requests. This one, this head, they are mostly like head request, but it only asks for headers, not the body content. When I
There's
mean
no.
for the header, not the body content, some application, they do not want you to get some data, like, let me say, if there's data I'm saving on server, and I will request those data, because when I am asking server to actually give me data, it will I will be using this get. But this head, it will only ask for head. When I say head, in configuration of our application, we will find them. What is the difference between head and body? We will find them, because body is where we write our data we want to send to our application, but head, it's only for our application configuration, that the head of our application, that I mean our API that we are sending, because sometimes we might be using keys, API keys, we may using content type, because also that is necessary for our application to know the type of data we are sending. That's why this head also is needed sometime, but mostly sorry, my microphone is having some issue.
Yeah. Okay, it's okay. No problem.
Oh, let me try to see. Maybe it's okay, I see. Maybe. So how about now?
Good.
All right. Thank you. So I was explaining about this head, but this head sometimes can confuse you. Let me explain also a little bit on option. uh, this one, when we are saying option, we mean when we are asking the server, what can I do with this URL? Because this part of URL is the one exactly we are asking. So this option, it is its usability, but for now we can just skip head and option because we don't need them. Let's just only focus on these five requests we have seen here: get, post, put, patch, and delete. So we have here a part of URL. This part of universal resource locator, this is where we put our link for our server. Let me say we want to access some information. Let me try to get one of the link last time I shared to you. Uh, record camp. No, not this one. I think it was. Where did I send this link? I think it was in WhatsApp group, right? Let me try to see the link. The link I shared last time. Yeah, I can see it. It was on WhatsApp. So Discord. Let me try
Hello.
to share it right here.
Hello, Sam.
Yes,
Sam,
look. Yes, look.
can you ask Mr. Zainab to meet? And you'll be unmuting when she want to speak.
Oh, okay.
Zainab,
Oh, okay. Zainab,
Yes.
can you mute the microphone because there's some background noise
Okay.
which is being recorded.
yeah, that one
Okay, no
was
problem.
Oh yeah, okay.
okay.
So where is the class general chat? Okay. All right. Let me see here. No, 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 no. No, this one is. Was it general welcome? Um, Paste. Okay, I was trying to send the link last time I was using. Let me say general. Okay, this one. So last time we tried to view on how to test our API, which was actually from one of the server. Here they have put some free resources that we can use to test our API. And okay, here on our URL, this is where we put our link when you are trying to access our server's data, because here we are actually trying to ask server to give us, or I can say it like to I'm trying to ask server to give us data from it. And here I put the link, which is HTTP, because this HTTPS means secured. HTTP is a hypertext transfer protocol, but secured. And here there is a domain name. This is a subdomain name, domain name, and also our our part here we have. So what do we have on this part? When I click send, because here it say post, I want to retrieve only one. On this part, it will go to our server, because exactly when we check on our resource here, our guide we have of fetching data, they provide an API which will be requesting a post data that is on ID 1. And when we come back here on the resources that we actually find here, they will show us a username because it's a response from server, because you can see here we have 200, which means okay. It's a server response that we have got. So this is exactly the way we can use get method when we are requesting data from server, so server can provide us some requests. So then, is any problem you have on this part before I jump to the use of post?
No, I don't have any problem with it.
So right now you understand why we use get and why I put here URL and why I have this result right here.
Yeah, I do understand.
Okay, nice. So before I jump to the use of post, I want to explain something here. Whenever you are done with using your API, if you don't want to lose the link you have used right here, first of all, let's name our request, because this here is fetch. Let me call it fetch post data. Let me name it like this. And after you rename this, you have to save. Remember this. Whenever you are done with any kind of task, you have to save them so that you can't lose your you can't lose the data you have put in your ground. So, and here I want to create another request. Here I will add request, and this request I want to make it be post. Here I will say save post data. Let me name it like this, and here I will save. So make sure that it saved my, because here you will see I will have my get post. I have get, and here I have post, which is save post data. I will come back to my guide and try to view where I can use. Okay, here they show me the way I can create or save my data using this API. I will try to take this API I have right here, this one, and come back to my URL like this. And another thing I didn't explain, which I'm going to explain about, because I have explained the method why we use here this post, but this is in JavaScript, don't worry about this. And here there is this part of body. So when we are dealing with body, when you go here beneath the URL, you will find the body, this one. Okay, let me try to see why my Discord is disconnected. So just wait a bit, there is some problem that just happened. Okay. Yeah, there was an issue of Discord. I don't know why it got disconnected. It was not supposed to disconnect. Okay. Okay. Then wait a minute. I want to see why this is being disconnected. All right. Okay, I'm on this part. Yeah, right now everything is going well. So on this part, as I was telling you, we will only need only two things. We have format data and low. So, what is the difference between these two before I jump to the you know JSON part? Format data. This is where we will have key and value. The key and value. This will be a part where I will write. Let me say if we are trying to send let me say like a post here, they have showed us that I'm going to send data, body, and user ID on this part. So I will come here and say title. Yeah, this is title because here they say title and body. Title, body, and on this part I will have user ID like this one. And if you try to view well here, we try to zoom. Okay.
But why did you stop your screen? I can't see.
Oh, it has stopped. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I think maybe it was the yeah, it was loading. Yeah, that is the that's why. Okay, but now you can see, right? Okay, Zainab, you can see the screen.
it's still loading.
Okay, just tell me when it's actually.
Okay, I can see now. You continue.
Okay, nice. So, the thing I was telling you, it was on this part, key and value. When I choose form data, because if I choose none, it means it will not perform any kind of. It doesn't have here on this part. It will not have any kind of body request body on this part. But when I choose form, because we will only need form data and the law, and I will tell you why we need only these two. Because most of the time we deal with uh, JSON data or like raw data that we send. So here on our table you can see we have key and value, and key and value will indicate the key, the name of data we are going to send, and its value that we'll be sending. So, and on key there is another thing you can see right here, which is I can say this will be the type of data you will be sending. You will send it as type or as text, or you will send it as file. This is the only two we have currently on this part. Because when you write here title, you must make sure that here you write like, let me say, new book in our store, or let me say maybe uh, binding Q. Let me select this one, binding Q, and I say body. This is about let me say like this cryptocurrency, and user ID, let me give it 1. Alright, this is the first way when you are going to ask a server to save our data on it. This is the format, the first format you have to send data on server. And let me say if you want to even to send a file, let me say like image, like this, you have to come here and you select this file, and on this part they will give you where you can actually uh, you know put your file that you will be sending on server. So then are we to get on this part, because I'm going to jump also to this part of law.
We are
Sorry, you say?
together.
Okay, right. Oh, okay, nice. So this was the first part.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. And sometime another trick I can show you here. Sometime you may want to send some of the data, not all data. Let me say here I found out that maybe I have made my API somehow wrong. Maybe I will send only title, body, user ID. You can click here on this part. You unselect this one, and this will tell our form data that we are sending actually only title, body, and user ID. That is the thing on this part. Alright, so let's jump on this low. On this low, when you select it, you can see well that here you will find this Johnson part. And this Johnson part, it has different type. There is text, there is JavaScript, there is Johnson, there is HTML, there is XML. Different format you can use to send your data, or to ask your server to save your data. These are different format, but for us we will be using Johnson. And this Johnson, why did I choose it? The reason why I choose it, it's because do we have anyone who joined the call? Alright, so this Johnson, the reason why I choose it, it's because most of the format that we will be using when asking our server to save data, it will be Johnson. It doesn't mean that we cannot use this text, Java, or HTML or XML, but for us we'll be using Johnson format. So let's try to view our guide here. For our guide, you see we have Johnson stringify. This is it will turn this into Johnson. Let me try to copy them. So okay, like this. So you must also know how to format your Johnson when you are dealing on this part. Every time whenever you are using Johnson, you must make sure that they are in double quote, either key or value, except for number, like the way I show you on this part, except for number. But other things like name, like title, body, like it must be in quote. So here we are going to test and see exactly. Here I have put my data in Johnson format because whenever I send my request, it will be in Johnson format. But before I send my data, there is another thing I didn't actually discuss about, which is headers. Headers actually defines like how data will be sent, right? Let me show you on this part. Here I have header, which have the type content type, which is application Johnson, with this corset. This is encode of this header. Actually, this part I will just try to copy this one and go. You can see here before the body you will find this header, and this header they will mark some hidden 10. Some people they just directly see it, but for me I will hide it because they are default headers for the Postman I'm using. Okay, so here I will put my content type. Actually, I'm going to define how data will be sent on this part. What type of data that will be sent. Here, first of all, I start with content type, and I put my format. There are different formats you can use, but for this guy who created this open source, he used this application Johnson cassette, which is using encode of UTF-8. So this is actually like our header that we have so far. Sometime maybe when we will be dealing with some token and API key, we will find out another way to add more of the headers here. And right now we don't need to write more of them because we are only using content type. So come back to the body. I still have my default data. Let me try to put a new one. Let me say a title. Okay, let me say binding queue and bar. I can say is about binding API. So let me just make it simple like this, and I just send my data. When I send, if you can see on this part, there is part which loads. This part that loads is the part that will actually show us the response from our server. Because you have seen it, there is a body part, there is also a response part. Because our response also for the guy who has created this, he made sure that our response is in JSON file. But if I click here, you will find out that there is also a different response you might have. We might have base64, hexadecimal, raw, JavaScript, HTML, XML, and even JSON. But for us here, we are getting a JSON response. That's why even on this part, we can see it brought this data from our server, which means we have saved our server, and here they show us that it was successful. We will also learn about these codes like 201, 404, like those things. We will see why they always like this. What do they say when we have put like 201? Is it successful or is it not successful? Like this, we will actually view this later. Alright, so is there any problem on this part before I jump to the another method? So Zaina, is there any other question on this part?
No, I could just understandable.
Okay, alright. So, and alright. So when we are done with this part, like the other part will be simple, like delete and also update. Let me add like several requests because this one will be very simple. And put here, like put. Let me see what we are going to make here on this part. Yeah, we will be using put, be using also patch to change a partial, and also delete. Okay, let me make 3. Here it's put, date, data, and I save to make sure it has the name. And here I make add request, another one, patch, patch data, and I save. And on this I will also add another one, which is delete. delete data like this. So let's start with put. When we go to our guide, you will find this. Okay, because we are going to use put, which is update our resource, we will take our URL and put it right here, and we return to our body, and after our body you will come back to the low because we are going to be using low, and the data that we will be using to update is this one. Inside the body we will copy them like the way they are. Okay, like this. So title, let me say House of King, House of, let me select this House of Samuel, right? And body, I will just say okay, like this. So one thing that you must actually be attentive on this part, you can see on our URL part we have our domain part normally, and we have actually the page we are trying to access, or like a request where we want to access, which is post, and we have this one we have here, which is ID. So here there is one thing. This ID, first of all, it can be an ID for data because that's the one that we are going to update, this one. That's why even here you can see whenever we are putting information we put ID, title, body and user ID, but actually the only data that will be updating is this, the one that has one ID. So whenever I send this information, you can see right here, it will go to our database where it will go to our server database and modify our data, and after modifying our data our server will respond to us showing us exactly if data have been updated or the data was not updated, and I do send. Okay, as you see here, our server provide a response of okay. This means or 200. This means that it have been successful, as you can see on this part, and our server will provide a response of those data we have updated, as you can see on this part. That is how we exactly make our put. So is there a problem on put? So I can jump to patch.
No, there's not any problem.
Alright, so let me go to patch. On patch, if you remember well, I have explained that when we are using patch method, we are updating a partial record. If I say partial, like a single part of our record, let me say normally on our put, you can see we update everything at the same time when we are using put, but on patch we only update one part that we need. So an example here, they have provided a title. go to my body and low. So, and let me say here they have provided an example of using title. let me let me try to get this. All right, this link. Okay, here we are trying to update only single part, which is title, but before we were actually updating the whole record that we want in our server. But while using purge, we only update one part. So on this part, let me say we want exactly to modify here. Let me say group of students like this. Maybe this is the part I only want to update. So on this part, if I send my request, and my server will respond with the exact part I have modified and show me the other part which were in database. So here, upon seeing my response, you can see that my title have been changed to the name I have given it here, right here, but the body is still the same. Are we together here? Have you understand the way we actually use purge?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, nice. So, but if you get stuck somewhere, tell me, because after this, I will jump into the the other part of how exactly how to use database, or which database that we will try to use when we are dealing with our backend. So we have also delete. Delete is very simple. It's one among the requests which is very simple. So on delete, we will come here and only take link, because we are deleting our post which is one, and you put here our delete like this, and because here method is delete, and we only just send like that. As long as you know you have put your ID of a record you want to delete, you will just make it like this and you send, and delete is done. So do you see how this is very simple when you are dealing with APIs without writing codes? But remember one thing, guys, if you actually using code, you will be going into the thing like this. Let me say, if you are using JavaScript, you will be writing like this list of all resources. You write this Johnson like this, or you make things like this when you are trying to create. You see, this will require you to make or to write some code. But when you are testing your API in Postman, you can see it's only just putting links and also formatting your data the way I just show you right here, like this one. It's only this you have to do. It doesn't require a lot of practice, a lot of like codes to write down. That is why even Postman is mostly used when we are actually dealing with APIs. So guys, before I show you the other part, I have to show you Postman. Is there any question? It's your time to ask. So guys, is there any question? Alright guys, I'm waiting for you. If there is anyone who has question, they can ask.
No, there's no question. I don't have any question.
Okay, don't have question. Only doesn't have question, and even Sammy. Guys, do you have any question?
No, doctor.
Uh, Sorry, you say?
I have one question.
All right. So let me return to my screen and show you. Okay. So this was not the one. Sorry, guys. Stop sharing. Stop. 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 Okay. So so guys, then let's just continue with what we have. If you don't have any question, uh, there is a thing that I didn't explain. I have not explained about what we call variable in Postman. Yeah, it's variables and environment. Okay, yeah, variable and environment. Let me say uh, in our folder, right? You want to create a variable. What exactly is variable and what exactly is environment when we are working on Postman? So variable are like a placeholders or a shortcut. Guys, remember this one. It's like a shortcut that stores value. Because normally you know about variable in programming if you have written about variable in JavaScript. You know, you have like a knowledge about it. But also in our Postman, we have what we call variable, which is like uh, also similar to variable that we have in normal programming. But in our Postman, there is a way to configure our variable, and it's somehow different from like the normal way you know about variable. Let me say I want to make sure that this domain, I make it a variable. How do I make it a variable? So this is the first way. I have to write this. uh, do we say this curly braces? Yeah, let me say curly braces. Maybe the other one, sometimes I confuse them. So I have base URL. Let me say like this. Let me name it this way. I can name it base URL or URL. So after double curly braces, guys, the only thing I will do is to hover on this part. And after I hover on this part, I make sure there is here add to, which will provide me the environment or create one. So, but for me, I'm explaining about variable, how you can create a variable. So you can come here, you hover, and you put your link on, let me say your domain name on this part where you have to put your value, and you do enter. And if you enter and you hover again, you will find out that your variable is stored here. Sometimes you might have a lot of variables. You might have a different links, different um, variables that you want to test. Right now I have only this base URL, which is like this. Maybe I might have a multiple base URL. How would I manage them? Let me say I want to go to variable in request. Okay, why is it not opening? Try to see variable in request. Yeah, this one. As you can see here, this is one of my variable requests I have. I can even add more, because the way I can find this is on this part, on the right sidebar. I will find this part where I can see my variable request, and here I have like a token which is empty, but I also have my base. I can even add more because I want them to be global, like to make sure that this one is global. It can be accessed in different parts. If I make it global on this part, guys, if I come back or here on post, you can see I still have my domain. Let me say I want to delete this one, and I want to use my base URL. As you can see here, I will find this base URL, and if I click, it will directly come on my request. Remember, at the first time I configure it in this get method, get request, and here I have put it again in also post. If I do not use this global, it will not come here, guys. Remember this one. Whenever you want to use your variable globally, you have also to make sure that you have given it this global indicator, that it must also come to the global part. You can also use anywhere in your program. So guys, is there anyone who has a question? So if there is anyone who has question on the use of variable in Postman, you can ask. I'm waiting for you guys. If there is, or if there is none, you can tell me. I can continue with the use of environment. Guys, are we good to go?
Yeah, we are.
All right. So let me finalize about variable. So the use of variable, or the reason why we use variable, we can avoid typing the same value multiple times. That is the first thing, because we already have everything set up. Sometimes we can make a mistake of typing value multiple times. Another thing, it can also make your request cleaner and reusable, like the way here it is. You can see, if I use my URL like this, it will be very, very, very simple to access my variable on this part. Let me try to see if let me see. Okay, open postbot. Okay, this is the thing. It can make your request more cleaner, like the way here I made my request URL. It will be more cleaner. And another thing, it is easily switch between environment, where when we will also be dealing with like testing and other things. It will be easy to switch from one variable to another variable when you are in testing mode, or you are testing your environment. That is the actual use of variable. So let's also look upon the use of environment. Why do we use environment, and the reason why we have to use it? So environment is a correction of variables, because we have seen exactly what variable can do, but environment is like a correction. We have to put all together our variables into one environment. So it helps you to switch between different setups. Let me provide an example on this part. Here close this. Let me show you the way. Here you can see when you go to your folder, you will find it empty like this. You will go on the sidebar and you will find this all variable. Here there is no environment selected, and I want to select environment. Let me say I want a production environment, and in this production they will provide you a different variable, but for me I don't want things like this. Let me just see. So why is it not okay like this? So I don't want to use all of these. No, I don't want them. Delete those one I don't need. Okay, like this. So here I can come to my, let me say I want to create my base URL. It's an example, and I put my link right here like this, and then collection name, let me say it's users. Let me say posts like this. Okay, and I save. Guys, remember, whenever you do your things, please remember to save so that you do not lose everything you have set. And I close. If I come back to my request here, they will show me that there is an issue because I have made the environment. I will go to the environment request. Where is this environment? Let me see, base URL. Okay. Alright, the way I will set it, because you can see in my, I have deleted this base URL. Let me first delete it completely because I don't want to see it again. I no longer need it. You can see it's, let me see the variables which are global. I want to delete this one. Okay, also save. Nice. So go back here. Alright, let's start with curly braces, and this is my environment variable. Let me say, okay, here is the thing, guys. You can see we have a different sign here. There is G, there is E, and there is C. So this, when I say a C on this part, is a correction, but when I say E is environment. So I want actually to use my environment variable. So if I want to use my environment variable, I will just choose E, which is base URL. So, but there is one thing, guys, you don't have to forget. I still have this. Let me try to see the way I can remove this, because it's disturbing my. It's disturbing this variable I have put on in correction. Okay, let's see the way I can delete this. Okay, and I return. Correction, delete, and save. Okay, so here it's, I think it's done. I'm trying to access again my, and see here, correction URL. Alright, here it's it's set. Okay. Right, let me try to use this environment and see if it can bring me data. Okay, I can say the request is somehow wrong, which means something is wrong on this part. uh, okay, they have put some. Okay, they are saying here I didn't save my environment value. I have to come back to the this part and put my value like this. Okay, like this. Right, pause like this. Nice. All right. So guys, you see here, and if I come back again and I refresh, you see, boom, now it's working. So what I can say about all of this operation I have done right here is, whenever you're setting your environment and variable, make sure that you do not meet with some conflict like that. First, go to your folder, or let me say if it is folder or it is your correction, set everything that you need, because right here you see here in my correction I didn't set any variable. So whenever you start with your code, first set your variable like base URL. If there is some other values you will use, try to write them down right here before you do anything, so that whenever you are going to access them, you start with them. All things that they are easily to be changed or modified. Yeah. So guys, is there anyone who has a problem, so we can end up with everything we have done right here? Guys, any question? So Zainab and Sami, is there anyone who has a question?
Okay.
Okay, you have understand well about this use of Postman, because yesterday I tried to explain it, to try to see if you can like finalize everything about Postman, but you were not present. So I want to make sure that you guys, you all have like a knowledge on how to do everything you see on this part. I hope that there is no confusion. There is no one who will come and say, I didn't understand the use of Postman, how to set variable, how to set environment, everything that I have said right here. I hope everyone has understood it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's understandable.
Nice. Okay, guys, thank you for your time. And there is another thing I can inform you before I close this live session. Uh, Everyone, you will receive some presentation, but there is also other uh, live stream that will be happening actually very soon, on especially for the backend people, showing how to set Django, making serializer, why everything's like that. There will be a live stream for it. So anyone who has time to join and join the YouTube and view it, it will be good. Or if you get time by tomorrow, because it will be the same thing that I will also be applying by tomorrow's session, because I want to make sure you have things before time, and whenever we start class session, I come and see people like trying to respond and interact with the class. Or if you have stuck somewhere, you can also ask about that one, or you have confusion to any part. Everything that will be done, we will view it live and also find it on your platform. The only time we will have to meet, it's only part we will interact, trying to view, trying to see, have you done some activities, have you actually tried to perform and find out that maybe you can do that, or if you are stuck with somewhere, so you will have actually to, you know, to ask some question about some part that you didn't understand. So guys, are we together on this?
Yeah, we are together.
Okay, nice. So if there is no other question, I can close the class for today. Guys, thank you for attending, and I hope to see you soon. And please tell your other colleagues, those ones who have actually missed the class, tell them that view like our their material online. Right now it is publicly online. They must review, check everything. If they have any question, they must correct them, and when we come back to the class, they will ask. And the one announcement I can give you, actually I will also write it in the group chat. uh, Guys, we will be having only 2 classes from now, because we only have 2 backend application, which is the first one is Django backend application using REST framework, and another one is using Node.js and Express. But database, we will see which one you will choose to use. And for the database, because we will be still in trial, we will on Friday, that is the time we will see upon the database you will be using and learn a real thing from it. Yes, that is all thing I can say to you guys. Thank you for your time. I wish you a wonderful night, and also Zainab, I wish you to heal well. I remember you met with tragedy last time. Yeah. So if there is anything,
Yeah.
yeah, if there is anything, guys, you can say,
No.
please uh, try to communicate
No,
on
there's
time if you
nothing.
have any issue. And I will see you by tomorrow. Thank you guys for your time.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks.